TV. This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello and welcome to We All Belong, Voices of Lived Experiences. My name is Carol Merton and I'm delighted that you're joining us for the program. Today we are taping on site at Safe and Sound in their location, and you'll probably notice behind me we're actually in the laundry room. So you'll see clothes behind us, and it's just part of the fact that this is Safe and Sound. In the background you may occasionally hear noises that arise. This is the place where participants come and go, and so they've kindly allowed us to use the laundry room, but we will continue the interview. But just want to let you know about the background noise that you may hear. Our participants today are sharing their stories to increase awareness and understanding about the challenges of everyday living and survival. Some are unhoused, and some are at risk of not having a roof over their heads. I thank those support services and agencies who work hard every day to meet people's needs and who have helped in the development of this program. Today I am delighted also to welcome Bill, who's agreed to speak about his lived experience as well as some information he'd like to share from his perspectives. Thank you, Bill, very, very much for being on the program today.
Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. Now, I know we've had brief conversations on the telephone, but tell me a little bit about your experience about being homeless.
I walked a life that was downhill until the age of 45. And at 45, I was in Toronto, and my life was done. There was nothing left. I had come from being manager of 3 funeral homes in Toronto as a funeral director. I had a wife, a child, everything was going my way. I managed to drink and drug that right out of existence.
Wow.
I went from there. I now know of places like Harbor Light. Mm-hmm. I know that you pick the dumpsters with the soft bags in them. I know what it's like to have to find a new pair of shoes. I know what it's like to walk around without underwear and socks. And the fact that you can change your socks inside out 3 or 4 times and then they still don't do much. I also learned that I was becoming a part of a need population that you can detect by smell. I met a man who showed me a different way. Mm-hmm. And when he showed me the way, I took up the mantle, and I've been doing that for the last 29 years.
So in Toronto, was there ever a point where you didn't have a roof over your head?
Oh, many times.
Okay, so
many
you
times.
Definitely have had lived experience of what it's like. What's it like for you now?
I have the greatest life in the world.
So there's a message of hope here.
Daily spend my life on the street with the street people, listening to them talk, telling them a better way, and then watching them as they get on the road and become happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They end up working, having jobs. They end up owning things. They end up taking responsibility. And to a man of them, they are better people. They are good people. They're not looking for fights and arguments. Their parents forgive them. They find a home to go to.
Yeah.
But we have to break the addiction. And we can't do it the way we're doing it. We're going the wrong way. And that's what I've been out there on the streets saying for years.
Yeah.
We have problems, and it's the way we look at it. We look at it as, how can we help? But we don't look at it as fact of how can we make them help themselves.
So
well,
that's
you can't make them help themselves by telling them you're doing all right and just keep trying to do better. That's not, you help them by saying you're failing. You help them by saying, look at me, I was where you were,
Yeah.
I'm not failing anymore. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You help them by not giving them the things that they're telling you about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to start training the people who are helping the street people that street people lie. They do not tell you the truth because you don't belong. They'll tell me the truth,
Yeah.
but they won't tell you the truth.
So I
And they help each other out. People don't realize that.
They are a community. They are definitely a community. That I've learned through doing the interviews with
Yeah,
a
but
variety of
but it's
individuals.
based on hunger and violence.
Now I have some questions. Just for you, when you were unhoused and on the street, how did you take care of your health? How did you talked about turning your socks inside out and that? But did you have health issues as?
Oh, you always do. Everybody in the street has health issues.
Yep. And so that was obviously a worry.
No.
Tell me more.
See, this is the mistake. We
Yeah.
think it's a worry.
But it's not.
Well, no, you don't care. All you
Yeah.
want, when I was on the street,
Yep.
all I wanted was the drugs and alcohol that were available to me.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with my teeth falling out. It had nothing to do with I was walking around with a broken nose or broken fingers.
Yep.
They were inconveniences.
Yep.
Because if I got enough drugs or alcohol, they didn't even hurt.
Yep. Yep.
But without the drugs and alcohol, everything hurt.
Yep. So you mentioned that you're out and you talk to people downtown. Based on what you're learning, what would you like to share with the community about how they should approach people who are downtown? Because we do hear that sometimes it makes people uncomfortable.
Well, let's get uncomfortable because what's happening downtown is rather scary right now. Never in Owen Sound was there the kind of knives and guns that there are around now.
So you're seeing a change.
Oh yeah, fentanyl is definitely a change.
So the type of drug availability has changed.
And the fact that they're being helped with it,
Okay.
right?
All right.
If they can't get it on the street, they can go to the hospital.
Yeah. So
You know,
that's
if they run out
created.
of needles, they can go and get new ones.
Yeah.
See, when I was out there 30 years ago, everybody was smoking and snorting this stuff, which is a long time before you die.
Yeah.
In other words, you have maybe 5 years chance to get that person recovered.
Yeah.
But now that we're handing them the guns, like we're
Yeah.
giving them the needles to shoot themselves with, and then we'll even give them stuff to put in it,
So it makes for a challenge.
well, all that happens is we're killing them. They're dying faster.
Do we have enough services here for the people who are unhoused?
Well, it's not, yes, we have enough services. We just, where are they when the people are active? The services quit at between 4 and 5 o'clock. The street people get active after O'Share suppers close, so that's like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So when the workers are working,
Yeah.
the street people aren't. And the trouble is, if you have a 1 o'clock appointment with a street person,
Yeah.
they're hurting so bad, they'll tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to hear.
Yeah. In the time,
At 5:30, they'll tell you what they think.
yeah, totally different
You'll write
approach.
a whole different book. Yeah.
Okay. So, in your experience, or from your conversations with street people, or those who are downtown unhoused, or precariously housed, where they're couch surfing, if they're offered help and they say no, what would you say to them if they're offered? Because sometimes things will be offered and they choose no.
Well, they know the place. Like if you're offering them, you should go to detox,
Yeah.
you have to understand they're willing to go there because they know they need help with their heavy drugs, but you're going to take away their cigarettes.
Ah.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the health system seems to worry so much about stuff that at this point in their lives shouldn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've made that such an issue, they won't go. And that's why a lot of them won't go into the rehabs or detox or anything. And that's also why they won't move into a lot of the apartments.
So they're-
Because when
yeah.
you're hungry, a cigarette's a big thing.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and things we wouldn't maybe be aware of. Obviously, that's why I'm having these conversations,
Yeah.
because we may
Yeah.
not even think of that. For you, if you had 3 wishes that you could use, either to help with this situation or for anyone who's unhoused, what would you wish for?
My first wish would be that the police had some strength to do something about the fentanyl problem, that we backed off on them a bit, give them a little authority to handle these people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The other thing is, they need more people on just the people level. Like, get the volunteers back out. Like, you kind of chased away all the volunteers years ago and replaced them with professionals. But professionals are being paid money. Volunteers are paying with their heart.
Interesting. Yeah.
And when you come in with street people,
yeah.
if you're being paid a salary, you're going to get very discouraged very quickly. And then your attitude will turn about, okay, I'm doing this for money. I've got a job.
So we need...
And we can't have that. It's got to be, because street people pick up on that so quick. Like, there's a saying on the street, and it's, you can't be a street person if you can't fool a government employee. You know, and they all believe that.
I have to remember that.
Yeah. And so as soon as you come up and say, I'm your worker, they're going, oh, gotta con this one. And they play them. And
yeah, they have to be wise to survive.
Well, they're
right?
very good at it.
Yeah.
Not wise, just very street, we call it. You know, they learn every trick from everybody else out there.
So that's your second wish. You get one more.
I wish we could stop criticizing God in this world. I wish we could get back to the fact that there is something good.
So
if you look up, you can feel the light, and you don't have to live in that misery and
yeah. So you're a faith-based person then.
Oh yeah.
Now, are you seeing?
Even though now I meet the people in the street and they start calling it a cult, which is another sad thing for us.
Community and family. Both when you were unhoused and living on the streets, and now. Tell me about the differences that you experienced around being connected to community and family.
On the street, you have your street family. People who have your back, people you have to have their back, people who steal from you, for you, people you steal for, that type of thing. Like it's a very tight-knit family with your little group, otherwise you won't survive on the street.
So you said
a person alone on the street is
not going to survive.
No.
So, in other words, even though people are fighting for their individual survival, are you saying that they will actually provide for each other by any means?
Well, they have to.
Interesting.
If you don't help John, where are you going to sleep?
Yes.
How are you going to close your eyes? Because when you wake up, you won't have any shoes.
I'm told that people travel all over with their possessions.
Well, they have to.
And I've seen actually outside Safe and Sound, where we're doing this interview, you see the garbage bags on bikes and everything. That's their home.
Yeah,
they
that's
take
their
home with them.
Yeah.
Because they lose it.
Well, or they have a home, but it's a place that they can only go at night, so they have to carry their all stuff with them, then they go back and sneak into their hidey hole for the night.
So they're never really accumulating much.
Well, they can't. Anything the extra they get that they can't carry is stolen immediately.
So as you transitioned from there to having a roof over your head, did your community change? Did the people you connect with?
Yes, and I do a lot of work that way now with people, and it's mainly they get their first place.
Yeah.
But they still all got all their street buddies.
Okay.
They lose their first place in a month or two that it gets cold because all their buddies come and stay with them to get warm. And they get kicked out. And then they become homeless, non-rentable.
Yeah. Yeah.
People keep saying the way to do it is monitored housing. Well, no, it won't work either, because they're sneaker and like the people in charge of the housing are not going to have the kind of authority they need
to be
to
able
do anything about the problems.
And you know, I hate to stop this conversation, but our time is up. I just got the broom waved at me again by the
Okay.
producer. So stay where you are. That would be great. I wanted to thank you very, very much for this conversation. I've learned for sure, and I appreciate your willingness to share both with me and with our viewing audience. Thank you to those who are watching today. Watching the program We All Belong, Voices of Lived Experiences. Please join us again to learn more about our vulnerable community members. And as always, take care and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Matthew Rutledge. I'm a 60 scoop survivor, born in Red Lake. Was adopted from there to Toronto at the age of 4. A lot of our brothers and sisters, family members got separated from each other. That was the government's goal, to break that connection from brothers and sisters. Basically taking the Indian out of the child. Right now, they're still trying to find themselves. Originally, my birth name is Harvey Halverson. In my high school days, teens, I was trying to fit into society. I knew I was First Nations, but I didn't know who I was inside. I think later in life, I started that journey. I am proud, Anishinaabe man, who I am now. I love life, who I am.
Hello and welcome to We All Belong, Voices of Lived Experiences. My name is Carol Merton, and I'm delighted to welcome you today to this program. Our participants are sharing their stories to increase understanding and awareness about the challenges of everyday living and the struggle for survival. Some are unhoused, or some are at risk of not having a roof over their heads. I thank those support agencies and services who work hard every day to meet people's needs and who have helped in the development of this program. Today, Ivan has joined us to share his story and his lived experiences. Thank you, Ivan, very much. And I know you mentioned I might need to speak up, so if I'm mumbling, you just say, Carol, speak up.
Okay.
So, we are taping live here at Safe and Sound. You may hear some background noise from time to time, and Ivan and I will just continue on the interview because the participants at Safe and Sound are in the other room and coming and going. So,
Yeah.
So Ivan, there's some questions that we have, and I'll just begin. How long have you lived in Owen Sound?
Lived in Owen Sound my whole entire life.
So you are definitely an Owen Sounder,
Yeah,
born and bred.
raised.
Yeah, okay. Would you consider yourself homeless?
I was at one time,
Yep.
but thanks to a few people and a few associations, I'm no longer homeless.
When you were homeless, was it for like a half a year, a year?
It was 2 years.
It was 2 years, so long time.
Yeah.
Of course, one day being homeless is a long time,
It
I
is.
think. Yeah.
That
What?
24 hours of being homeless feels like a week.
Yeah, yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what led you to becoming homeless?
I had a really good job. It was a seasonal job, and we were off on our winter break, and my ex-girlfriend and I, we got into a bit of an argument, and she ended up doing something that created me to lose my job.
Okay.
And when I lost that, I felt like I lost everything.
Because your
Like I
job was
had-
your security.
Pardon?
Your job was your security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was making really good money there. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I think at that time I hit rock bottom.
Okay. So having employment was important to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a worry in the world at that point when I had that job.
Yep. So I want to chat a little bit about your being homeless and about your health.
Okay.
So during that time frame, what was it like trying to stay healthy?
It's difficult. Like trying to get the right foods to eat, and you come to people that can help you, and
Yeah.
there's no problem with exercise. There's lots of that.
Because you have to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes you got to carry everything you own, and it's tough.
Because you're homeless, it's got to go with you.
Yeah.
You can't leave it anywhere.
If you leave it anywhere, somebody in Owen Sound will find it and it'll be gone.
I've heard that from others that we've spoken to, that things
Theft
get
is a big thing in this town.
stolen.
Yeah.
So the only way to keep it safe.
Is to keep it with you.
So when we see people who are around town, whether they're walking, carrying things, or bikes loaded down with bags,
Yeah.
it's because that's their home.
Yeah.
They're taking everything with them.
Yeah. That's why I lived with when I was homeless, I lived with the bare minimum.
Just what you could carry easily. Yeah. So you really.
Or you could find a tree or a bush you could hide some things in.
Yeah.
So you would have to carry it around.
Yeah. Yeah. So to get food, where would you go?
I went to O'Share.
Yes.
That's awesome. Like, they were awesome people there.
Yeah.
And I came here to Safe and Sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And recently an aunt moved to Owen Sound, so her and I are pretty close.
Yeah. So you're able to go and share a meal there as
Yeah.
well.
Have a chat and whatever.
Yep. Yep. So when you were homeless, how did you stay warm in the winter?
Again, Safe and Sound
Yeah.
is a big thing.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's so grateful for all the
Yeah.
people that work here. You just find shelter, pretty much. Just try and find somewhere to stay out of the wind.
Yeah. So wherever you could be secure
Yeah,
and safe,
yeah,
but you were outdoors.
yeah. So there's not really any safe area
No.
or secure area.
No, no. What about warm when it's so hot and the heat waves cooling down?
You just find shade, sit near water.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Lots
how.
of that around here.
Yeah, there is lots of water around
Yeah.
Owen Sound. That's
Like the
for
harbor front, that's a nice spot to sit.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever had to stay actually overnight in a shelter or in a motel program?
Yeah, the Y housing, they put me up at the Travelers Motel.
Okay.
You get 7 days.
So you only get 7 days when
Yeah.
you're in the motel.
You have to abide by the rules, or
Yeah. So after 7 days, you're out again.
after 7 days, you're pretty much on your own again.
Yeah. So it's not a long-term stay.
No.
It's
But that gives you, like, well, when you're there and in the motel room, you've got access to a phone.
okay.
So you can actually put resumes out and have a phone number for a certain amount of time.
Okay. To hear back.
Yeah.
That's a good point. If you don't have a phone and you want to find a job, it's pretty hard,
Yeah.
right? I hadn't thought of that, but that is true. So
And a lot of times, like, I've owned like 5 cell phones in the past 6 months, and your body just, when you're homeless, your body just gets so to the point it just shuts down. And if your cell phone's laying beside you, it's going to be gone.
it's gone. Yeah. So you can't be guaranteed that you're always going to have a cell phone. So what do you do in an emergency then if you don't have a cell phone?
Well, now, like I said, I got my aunt. She moved to Owen Sound, so
Okay.
I was able to get her to use her number.
Yeah.
And before that, it was my mom.
Okay.
She lives in Walkerton, so
Yeah. So you really have to be creative about how
Yeah.
you can have connections to
I just
even
put my
help
mom's
you.
number on, and then I just come to Safe and Sound because it's free to use the phone here. So
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing we've talked about food and we've talked about clothing and that, but there is a phone that people have access
Yeah.
to by coming in here so they can at least connect if they don't have a cell phone. So you've obviously been very creative about getting help.
yeah.
And from your experiences, do you encounter people who wouldn't want help?
Yes, like there's a few people out there because they're afraid of the way people are going to look at them.
Really?
They look down on them.
Okay.
Some people
Okay.
that have never had to go through what the homeless people have gone through. They've never had to do that,
Yeah.
so they have no clue.
Yeah. And nobody likes being looked down on.
No,
whether you're homeless, it's not a good feeling.
No.
Yeah, yeah. So, where do you hang out with friends? That's a question you don't want me to ask, right? Or
Well, I don't care. It don't matter.
you're all right
I
with
come
that?
here and
Yeah.
I come here and hang out with the people here.
Yep. So do you think being homeless is different for men than it is for women?
I think it's pretty equal, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and from your experience, when you were out and about and homeless, would you say there's more men in that situation than women, or can you even comment?
I would say there's more men.
Okay.
More men homeless, for sure.
Okay, than women. Yeah. So, this to me is a really important question. What do you think the rest of the community does not understand about being homeless?
They just don't understand the concept of it. Like, you don't have that couch to sit on, you don't have that TV to watch, you're pretty much lost. You just sit there and stare at the water that you've stared at
Yeah.
or stare at the people walking by, or
Yeah, yeah. And so what we take for granted in our everyday, you don't have.
exactly.
So the days drift by because you're just there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The days just go so slow.
yeah, yeah, which makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
So if you had 3 wishes, or even thinking back to the time you were homeless, or now,
Yeah.
if you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
Well, number one would be I used to be into drugs. My one wish would be that I had never touched a drug in my life. That's one of my biggest wishes. Other wishes would be like when I was homeless, wish I could have a place to go to every day to call home.
Yeah, that was yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And the third one would be like a little bit of money in my bank account so I could go out and do things that
yeah.
I would like to do.
So you're really talking about basic survival.
Yeah.
What a lot of people take for granted: a roof over their heads, a little bit of money, and not to have addictions to cope with.
Addiction was one of my biggest fights in my life.
Yeah, yeah. And at this point, are you feeling as if you are able to move forward?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it
Good
is.
for you.
Thanks to the Y Employment Housing.
Yeah.
Last September, I finally got off the streets thanks to them.
And that made all the difference in the world. Gave you hope?
Pardon?
Did it give you hope?
Yes. A great deal of hope.
Because work is important to you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You want to work.
Yeah, I do. I want to work.
Yeah. Choosing not to have a job would not be what you would choose to do. You want a job.
I want a job, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 52 now, so it's a little bit harder to keep up with the younger fellows, but
But you do your best, right?
I do my best.
Take care. Stay safe. Thank you.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
What are you here for?
I'm here.
Score 40. Score 50. Come on. That's it?
There's a new member of the 60-goal club.
David Pasta.
60 on the season.
The game breakers are out. Feels like he can score from anywhere.
Top shelf. Love side.
Wrap around.
Breakaway.
Only great goal scorers make plays like that.
One-timer.
Timer score!
Sportsnet. Here for hockey.
Hi, I'm Vivica Gravel, Community Development Coordinator with the City of Owen Sound and the River District. And welcome to My River District. This is a show where every week we'll be here at Rogers Studios talking to you